It's been brought to my attention that I'm a bit rubbish at FIFA, and also that I'm not very good at doing FIFA videos. So an executive decision has been made: no more FIFA 17 on the channel for the foreseeable future. However, don't despair. Those of you who have already calendared in your Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday extra video slot, there's still going to be something there. It's just not going to be FIFA. 6 o'clock tomorrow on this very channel, the Everton save returns. We're going to do a second season of Everton. We're back in the Premier League and back in Europe as well, having just won the FA Cup at the end of our one and only season down in the Championship. There's a little bit of money to spend. It's going to be a transfer special. It's going to be our return to the Premier League. So make sure you check that one out. And if you haven't seen the Everton series so far, fingers crossed, Future Kev will have put one of those fancy card things up there or up there. I don't know which corner it ends up in, so you can get caught up between now and then. Hello and welcome to Season 2, Part 6 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we've got two games in the Conference North. We're away against Curzon Ashton, we're at home against Altrincham, and I think with 9 games of the season left to go, we're allowed to say we're trying to get into the playoffs. I still don't like saying it, but we are officially now allowed to say it. A lot of you have been just deliberately ignoring the playoff and promotion speculation ban in the comments anyway, so we're going for it. We're going to try and get there. It's not going to be an easy task at the moment. With 9 games to go, we're 2 points outside of the playoffs, but the 2 games that we've got today are against the 2 teams immediately above us in that playoff race. So first off, we're away against Curzon Ashton. If we beat them, we leapfrog them up into 5th place, and also that slots us in nicely behind Altrincham, who we play next. So this might only be a 1 episode allowed to talk about the playoffs thing, because if we don't win both of these games, the dream is over. But you know, we're at that point. Important run of games. If we can win both of the games today, we've got a good chance of making a very unlikely late push towards the playoff. Since you were last with me, form, I mean, it's starting to pick up again. We had that little sticky patch where we went, 6 games without a win. I mean, that's not exactly playoff form, is it? Draw, loss, draw, loss, draw, draw. But we finally, back to winning ways in the last couple of games. We beat Guiseley 2-0, beat Salford 2-1. So there's a chance. If we go back to this kind of form, there's no chance. If we can go back to this kind of form, I'm quietly confident. This is the team that we're going to be playing for the first of today's 2 games. It's a familiar formation by now, a familiar set of players. The problem is the players in the attacking quadrant. Is quadrant the right word? I don't care, it sounds fancy. The attacking players are the ones who aren't in particularly good form at the moment. The midfield on the whole is doing okay, but Jordan Wright has gone off the boil massively, and any combination of front 2 isn't really working at the moment. Madeley down to a 6.5 over his last 5 games. Nathan Jarman has scored a couple of goals recently-ish, but isn't the same player he had last season, and Joe Parker has also gone off the boil. So we kind of need return to form of at least 2 of those 4, with at least one of the 2 being Jordan Wright, because he was so important in that first half of the season when we were close to unbeatable. So fingers crossed we get return to form for some of those players today, and more importantly, we pick up 2 wins. So we've got Willis in goal, a back 4 of Roberts, Cook, Masonda and Gurr, with Sam Wright with them and Brogan in midfield. Jordan Wright, the player pushed on behind the front 2, who today are Jarman and Madeley. So let's get straight into the game. Just these last few games that we've been playing offline, it's not been a happy time. The whole fancy system that we've been doing has not really worked. We went back to the 4-3-1-2 at one point, and that didn't really work. That resulted in a defeat as well. Then switching back after 1 game away from the 4-3-1-2, switching back to this lopsided 4-3-3 again, that coincided with us picking up 2 more wins. So hopefully we've tricked the game into thinking that we've had a tactical change by moving away from this tactic for 1 game and then coming back to it. And Sam Madeley's got his 15th goal of the season to get us off the mark. And as you can see from the league table, in fact, forget the league table being able to see it, we're going to move it. We've been going up, I mean, it's been 6 or 7 episodes now You've all been saying you can't see the league table behind my stupid head. So let's just watch Maidlin get his goal in 3D. Beautiful it was too. Who's that who's injured? Is that Brogan who's picked up an injury? Or no, Nathan Jarman again. Right, we're going to move some stuff around so you can actually see this league table as it becomes a bit more important in this second half of the season. So let's move this stuff over there. You don't need to see the formation they're playing. We'll just swap everything over. Match stats. This is going to confuse me having the match stats over the wrong side. But we won't fit the full league table in if we don't have it set up this way round. So if we stick that there, stick that in there, and now if we have a look over there, I think it is, or is it over there? Either way, you can now see the league table, and you can see that as predicted pre-match, by going a goal up against Curzon Ashton, we have leapfrogged them. Unfortunately, Altrincham are winning as well, so I don't think they're going to be catchable. Even if we can win this game and go and beat them, we're still going to end up 3 or 4 points behind them. So we're very much in a battle for 5th place with Curzon Ashton and Kettering, maybe FC United as well if they can have a late push. But it's probably going to be a 3-horse race for that 5th place. And we just need to keep winning. That's the important thing. Right, Jarman picks up the ball fairly deep, tries to put Jordan Wright in, and Wright put them under good pressure there. I think he forced a corner, but apparently it wasn't worthy of us seeing. So, and now both the front two are injured. I mean, this isn't really what we were hoping for. Return to form. I suppose a return to form for Nathan Jarman based on his last year or so now. Getting injured is a return to form. That's what he does now. I think it's fairly safe to say we're not renewing his contract in the summer because he's on quite a lot of money for this level based on his exploits from the previous year. And he's just a bit old and broken now. So it'd be nice to make him part of the coaching setup somehow, but I imagine he's still young enough to want to carry on playing with someone else, maybe a little bit lower down. Brogan, the cross comes in. Wright tries to get in there, but can't quite get to it. The other Wright does get to it. He's on a yellow card in a big game. That's a worry because we all know what happens next. Jarman is in here and hits the post. Right, we probably need to make some changes. One of those front two is going to need to come off. I don't think we've got the capacity to take them both off. And we need to get Sam Wright off as well before he gets himself sent off. So we're going to bring Douglas on for Sam Wright. And we're going to bring Joe Parker on for Nathan Jarman. And fingers crossed, Madeley doesn't go and get himself a more serious knock now. But hey, it's a big game and Sam Wright didn't get himself sent off. This is progress. There has been some discussion in the comments that maybe we should switch one of the central midfielders to being just an ordinary central midfielder. The argument is even stronger when Kelvin Douglas is in the team because he would be better in that role. But I can't quite bring myself to do it when playing two ball-winning midfielders has worked so well. Yes, they pull each other out of position all the time. They're chasing players down all the time, but they do stop the ball getting past them mostly. There you go, interceptions again. Joe Parker's in. Can he get himself back to some kind of form? He can't. 10 games ago, Joe Parker scores that. Everyone's happy. He picked up a little injury and was out for 3 or 4 games, and I think he's struggling to get back to his previous exploits from before that. A lot of you in the comments seem fascinated as well that Madeley and Parker are actually proving to be any good because in your saves they've been a bit rubbish. So perhaps they're just both massively earlier in the season were massively playing above themselves and they were never actually going to be any good anyway. Can Galbraith play wide? He can play wide. Let's play Galbraith out there on the left-hand side of midfield because Brogan's not having a particularly good game. And Galbraith, we signed as a left-back, but he can play in central midfield. You'd expect him to be able to play on the left-hand side of midfield as well. Probably should be looking to train him there because we don't have much in the way of backup for the left-hand side of midfield. If we concede a goal here, I'm going to vomit over my microphone because we've got 10 seconds left. The ball is way up in their half. And there you go. We've got the first of what needs to be 2 victories today. And we are back up into that playoff spot with 8 games left to go. And now we play 4th place Altrincham. And they're both injured. Nathan Jarman is out for another week or so. He did a strained wrist. Sam Madeley, though, who has been such a creative influence on the squad with all his assists so far this season, he's out for 5 to 6 weeks with a twisted ankle. So 2 changes in the side, both up front. Joe Parker comes back into the side as the defensive forward. Joey Johnson is starting his first game of the season after such a good year last year where he scored 20 goals alongside Nathan Jarman. He picked up an injury early on as well. Has never looked like the same player coming off the bench, but we kind of need him to have a return to last season's form when it really matters. Playing up front, playing as the advanced forward. This is what he was good at last year. fingers crossed, playing alongside a proper defensive forward again. This time Joe Parker rather than Nathan Jarman, but fingers crossed, that's not fingers crossed, fingers crossed, we can see a return to the Joey Johnson of last year, because he, unlike Jarman, is still quite young. He's 21, 22, plenty of time to get back some form and get back to the player that he was, but he's another one who, if he doesn't show us something in these last 8 games of the season, there's just no reason for us to renew his contract. We can't be carrying passengers. There you go. We'll have a cliche. Johnson is in, and he would have scored it last year. I'm looking over the wrong side to see if that's a clear-cut chance, because you all made me move my stats boxes around. Apparently it was, though. We've actually had 2 clear-cut chances, but haven't had the all-important goal that we need, because we've got Stockport, Kettering, Curzon, Ashton all breathing down our necks. Altrincham 7 points ahead of us, so if we're going to have any chance of catching up with the teams above us, we need a win today. But I'm more interested in sort of looking over my shoulder, see what's going on with the teams who are chasing behind us. Right, Johnson has been rubbish. Joe Ironside can come on. We had high hopes for him at the start of the season. He's never really showed us anything just yet, but fingers crossed today's the day. Jordan Wright is rubbish again, and we don't have anyone to bring on for him. I've got nothing. The lad Wilson, who we signed in to offer him some competition, he's now left again without playing a game because he got grumpy that he wasn't getting any opportunities. So we've just let him go off to Hemel Hempstead, I think, for nothing. Today would be a nice day to be able to bring him into the side, but apparently not. We'll bring on Joe Guest. He can come on for Brogan and hopefully offer us something a little bit more from that left-hand side of midfield. But we do desperately need a backup to Jordan Wright, because more often than not now, he's having these poor games, possibly because he knows there's no competition at all for his place in the side. So there's no real incentive for him to play well, because he's going to play week in, week out. Otherwise, we have to change the system, because he's the only player at the club, pretty much, who can play in that position, other than Sam Madeley, who's now injured for most of the rest of the season. Kettering have pulled above us now. This is a problem. 7 games to go after this one. And so if we don't get a dramatic last-minute equaliser, we are going to fall back out of the playoffs again. And this was a good opportunity to secure, or at least get closer to securing that playoff spot. It's going to be very much touch and go. I see we've got FC United next. So all the teams around us that we're playing now. We've still got FC United, still got Boston, who are flying high. Fylde, Kettering. Wowzers. I think what we're probably going to do, our next episode is going to be Fylde and Kettering, the last 2 games of the season, and then fingers crossed, at the end of that, we'll have secured a playoff spot and we can have an exciting set of playoffs to end the season out. But, I mean, it's not disastrous. It's certainly, regardless of how these next 7 episodes go. 7 episodes? Whoa, no. 7 videos. No! Goodness me! Learn your words, man! Regardless of how these next 7 games go, it's been a much better season than we were hoping for. We were hoping, outlandish hope was mid-table. I think we've already achieved at least that, and we'll just have to see if we've got enough left in the tank to push into a playoff spot and finish the season off with a bang. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you pop a like on there for me, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.